Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of Inside the Gates, the podcast episode where we bring you all the updates, things happening and things going on with you guys.
Exactly. So we're going to get straight into it this week.
As we always do.
As we always do. We're not here for dilly dallies.
No.
If you want the dilly dallies, go over to the other podcast where we're going to talk for miles on end about how to budget and how to get the most out of your trip and everything like that.
And our lives as well.
No, if you actually want to know how we are, go and listen to that.
Yeah.
In all honesty,
No formalities here.
Where should we start? Do you want to start over in Florida?
We can do. I mean, I've done a little bit of a Merlin overview.
I tell you what, let's give Merlin some love at the start.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the Merlin person at the moment with this update. So I've got a
You go
few
for
things. I think we'll talk about more things next week as things have just happened. So I think give them a few weeks to just get going and I can fully go into it.
Absolutely.
But Warwick Castle has had its hotel open for 1 year exactly.
Very nice.
Whoop, whoop. It actually looks really nice.
Warwick is a lovely place.
We should go.
We should go to Warwick.
Wonderful. Do you know who's come to Madame Tussauds? I think it's 13.
Taylor Swift, hasn't
13
she?
different places, 13 different outfits,
All-
11 eras.
Yeah, I was going to say most of them, if not all of them, are from the Eras tour. What are the other two? Do you know?
Oh, are there only 11 eras?
Well, you said 11 eras out of 13.
No, 13 outfits.
Oh, 13 outfits.
Yes.
Oh, but all from different eras.
Yes.
I suppose one of the things to sort of bear in mind is that if anybody saw the Eras tour as well, like she would quite often change her outfits.
Exactly.
Depending on what it was. So, for example, like the Enchanted dress would change quite often.
Yeah.
Etc.
All the outfits changed. It was really,
All of them
people were
changed.
trying to guess what outfit she was going to wear.
The only thing I am going to say, do I think Madame Tussauds is worth your time or money? I'm not too
That's
sure.
a conversation for another day.
That's another conversation.
That's an opinion, not a fact. We're
Exactly.
here for the facts.
We're here for the facts. Sorry, guys.
Legoland Shanghai opened earlier in July.
Very nice.
And it looks really cool. There is so much to talk about. So I'm going to wait until next week when it's been up and running for a month. So I can go, right, here's what is good and here's what's going on. But AI hotel robots. That's all I'm saying.
And the final brick has been laid.
Yes. And going over to Florida with Merlin, Legoland California and Florida have just received a 70 million, I think it's pounds investment because I think it's a UK owned company.
Yeah.
70 million investment into their parks in California and Florida.
Do we know what they plan on doing?
No. Not quite, which is why that was literally just announced
yesterday.
Because
I suppose one of the things that I always think about, especially when it comes to Legoland is one of those parks that really, really struggles, I suppose, to make it appealing to every single person.
Yes.
It is predominantly designed for children. I don't know whether Merlin will ever think about going around that or exploring other avenues, but that's something to sort of bear in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick over in Florida and we're going to talk probably at length about quite a few things that have been announced this week. One of the main things on Monday, so this episode comes out on Saturday. On Monday, that will be your last opportunity to ride Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin before it goes for quite an extended update. Now, when it comes to this update, now we've obviously been teased quite a few things, but one of the main things that they've actually now kind of revealed is that like they're not just changing the target. It looked like they were just moving the targets and changing the changing the guns. Actually, one of the things that they are doing is there's going to be more of a kind of pre-show sequence.
Ooh.
So you know when you kind of like go around the corner, you know, like in Toy Story Mania,
yes.
where you basically have hey, let's practice, let's calibrate, let's see how you're going to get on. Here's what you need to do. There's going to be an element of that, I believe, because they've introduced a new character called Buddy, who's basically going to be kind of helping you and talking you through the system. Apart from the targets being more interactive and obviously operating off sort of LED as opposed to being completely and utterly static, you're also going to have completely new ride vehicles, guns that are detachable, and a screen that is actually kind of much more up to date than the sort of very standard, the very standard one. My big question I kind of pose to you, do you think they're going to completely change how you score, so therefore it's much more difficult to become something like a galactic hero?
No.
Or do you think they're going to change quite dramatically? I think they're going to change
where
you hit the targets and which targets you have to hit.
Everything we've learned about where to hit, we've got to change. That ain't going to be the same. But I think compared to Toy Story Mania, there's the whole element of becoming a galactic hero. It's a thing. So they make it more difficult and people don't do it. That's going to be no fun.
But then again, I think if you know it's now really, really easy, I think change it up.
I think they're going to.
Do you know what I would love to see, especially from something like that? I would really, really like to see that maybe there's like 10 targets that are going to be quite high scoring.
Yeah.
You know how there's like maybe 3 or 4 at the moment? The claw hand, the top of the volcano, the bottom of Zerg's, Zerg's thing. One thing I would really, really like to see is actually, say for example, it's like 10 or 12 targets, and you know what those 10 or 12 targets are going to be, but you don't know which ones are actually going to be the high scoring ones on that day. So it kind of encourages you to, to be a bit more open with the whole thing. So yeah, I think that's quite exciting. Another thing that is happening next month, well, technically we are now in that month at the time of recording this in August, D23. Destination D23. Now, let's just say that last year when we had all of the announcements about all of the theme parks worldwide, it utterly blew our mind. We ended up doing an episode on it on the podcast, and we were able to go into so much detail about everything that is happening probably over the next sort of like 7-8 years.
Yes.
Now, changes are obviously happening in Magic Kingdom with the closure of Tom Sawyer Island, and they're going to be starting on the Cars Land back there, and we spoke about that the other day. The other thing I suppose I want to propose is that what updates do you think we're going to get? Do you think we're going to get any more timelines?
I think we'll get some timelines, and it won't be anything new we don't already know, but it's going to be more sort of concrete plans on dates and that kind of thing.
Because that's the thing that I really want. Like, for me, the one thing that they haven't really given much, timeline on is Monstropolis. No. Although one thing I will say with Monstropolis is that the staff area of the car park, which is sort of, as you go into Hollywood Studios, it's the far left-hand side, that has been cordoned off for a while. They have now actually started breaking ground in that area for where the show building is going to go for the door ride. So that's pretty incredible. The only thing I will say is that I now think, given the update that we've had on Animation Courtyard, are there a couple of other sort of smaller scale, not kind of like brand new lands or necessarily huge rides? Are we going to get any more like that? I'm expecting more updates.
Yes.
So say, for example, they say, hey, by the way, we're going to look at, an old ride like Test Track and update it. We're going to look at...
just been updated. Don't update it again. I don't want Test Track 4.0 now.
Maybe 3.0 just isn't doing it. That would be my thing. No, but one thing to sort of bear in mind is, like, you think about... I'm just going to spitball here. Like, you think about Space Mountain. Space Mountain's never really had, like, a proper update.
Can't touch it.
Can't touch it. But could rides like that be getting some form of update would be my argument, to be honest with you. The other thing that has been announced is the full lineup of Eat to the Beat, which is happening at Food and Wine, and we love a bit of Food and Wine. It's one of our favourite festivals, apart from probably Festival of the Arts, I would say. A couple of notable people there this year are the Baha Men, who let the dogs out.
Oh,
Katie Tunstall, The Fray, Hanson, and Smash Mouth. And when we are out there, Hanson are there.
Yeah, I know.
And I really like Mbop. It's one of my favourite songs from the 90s.
Well,
so
we're doing Universal,
I would just
so
like
to see what happens.
I just want to throw it out there, to be honest.
We'll
just want to throw it out there. One of the sort of maybe bigger updates that is coming from Disney at the moment, given the time of year that it is obviously Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is happening. I think it literally starts later this month, doesn't it?
It does.
So tickets have been on sale. One thing I will say, because we've been exploring the possibility of going, the kind of longer you leave it, and actually the closer you do it up until sort of Halloween,
expensive.
The price of it can be really, really extortionate. Now, don't get me wrong, you get a lot of candy. It's a wonderful event. It's honestly one of my favourite Halloween events. But would I pay, as we kind of looked the other day,
£200 per person.
Like £200 per person is quite a lot for an extra ticketed event, given that it's only kind
just
of like
some candy.
An evening, I suppose.
Yes.
There's lots of things that you can't normally do, and I suppose that's one thing that kind of leads us there in the first place. But the other thing that I will say is that they just announced all of the food items for Mickey's Not So Scary. They have also announced lots of the merchandise that is going to be on offer. There's a really, really nice Spirit jersey at the moment, which, I'm not a big Spirit jersey guy.
No.
But I really, really like the design. It's quite fun. On the other side of the pond, you come to Oogie Boogie Bash, which is the Mickey's Not So Scary in Disneyland. Yeah. And one of the things that I loved that they teased the other day, they basically did like this promotional shot, and it was like a kind of wristband dropping on the floor and kind of shaking. So they've kind of hinted that Syndrome is one of the kind of extra villains, because what is very, very different about Oogie Boogie Bash as opposed to Mickey's Not So Scary is Oogie Boogie Bash has some walkthrough events.
It's like trick-or-treat trails, but with villains. Exactly.
So last year they had like Sid. I mean, the one that was going really, really viral was the Hades, because Hades essentially, whenever he got angry, his hair would turn red and
everything would turn red. It was insane.
It's just absolutely amazing. So I do think that when it comes to Halloween, I think Disneyland do it better, and I would love to do Oogie Boogie Bash at some point in the not too distant future. Yeah. But again, that's a whole nother thing. Another big update for me, especially on the Disney front, is that we are getting closer and closer to the Disney Destiny. Now, the Disney Destiny has been kind of earmarked as a ship that celebrates kind of heroes as such. Yes. And one of those that is really getting celebration is Hercules. Now, we got the first glimpse of what the show is going to be in the main theatre, and it is a Hercules-based show. And they were showing off these kind of like prototype puppets of the Titans from Hercules, because if you know the storyline, basically these Titans are trapped. Hades releases them, they end up going and destroying the place, and Hercules has to kind of stop them by kind of casting them out into the galaxy. But these puppets are literally operated by humans inside. I don't know whether anyone actually saw them.
It's given, if you've seen the How to Train Your Dragon show in Epic Universe, it's giving that kind of style puppet for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what I love is the scale of the puppetry that seems to be happening at the moment. I don't know whether you saw it from, I think it was San Diego Comic-Con. Did you see the Galactus puppet that somebody had? If you get a chance, please go check it out, because that is ridiculously impressive. And honestly, it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen at a Comic-Con. But I think it just goes to show that, with kind of technology advancing, and actually, I suppose one big thing is like materials getting lighter. You can have these kind of like incredible puppets that, this is easily like 20 foot tall. And it looks outstanding. So that's another big thing for me. When it comes to the Halloween events, and let's kind of shoot over to Halloween Horror Nights. But before we talk about Halloween Horror Nights, I will say that Rip Ride Rockit is closing on the 17th.
And now, the work they're doing in that area is insane. They have like just ripped up everything. The Berlin Wall was still there. Do not panic, people. But the whole...
it has fallen, but it fell in Germany, and now it's okay behind the Hard Rock Hotel.
Like they're reaching out to where kind of like the big globe is, the universal icon. So that ride they're going to be building is going to be massive, which I think is good. This is all good.
Do you know what it makes me think? And again, I'm going to speculate here a little bit. It makes me think that one of the things that they might do is they might end up building a show building partially around part of a coaster.
Yes.
I would like to think that maybe that's being used in some capacity. I still think, why are they not using that Nickelodeon building down the side and where Blue Man Group used to be?
I do also think the Rip Ride Rockit queue isn't long enough to host the amount of people that would now want to ride a ride like that.
Well, if it was a new one, you'd absolutely have to...
You won't be able to... There's not enough room, so maybe it's just queuing space.
Yay.
Who knows?
That's a big pile of dirt for some queuing space. And we have also had some more announcements. I think what's quite nice with Halloween Horror Nights is the way that Universal do it is that they never ever reveal... they tell you to never go alone, but they also never reveal everything at once. So yes. I like the fact that they just kind of drip feed you up until the event. So we've now had a little bit more specificity on scare zones. But again, we're going to talk about those in more detail on our Halloween Horror Nights episode in the coming weeks. But the other thing that I will say is that we've also had another, I suppose it's IP that's going to be announced. And that is Wyatt 6, which is basically a direct reference to... some wrestlers in the WWE who, if you've seen any of their work, it's built on horror. And that's pretty much all the updates that I have for you.
Oh, lovely. Well, I can then update the people on you guys. So I put a little Instagram question up this week to be like, what are some of your favourite memories from the parks? Just general...
lovely.
Yeah, I know. Nice.
I haven't looked at these either, so this is new for me.
It's a couple. It was quite a last minute one, so if you didn't get in, I'm very sorry. There will be one going up earlier for next week's episode, and make sure you get in there. Not sure what the question will be, but it'll be something to do with you guys. So Dave 1998.99. I'm confused at what year you're born in, Dave. Is it 1998 or is it 1999? I'm confused.
Or was it the first time you went to Orlando? Who knows?
Who knows? They said, I don't think anything beats seeing the Disney World sign for the first time. Now, I think you must mean the one that you drive through.
Yeah, I think the drive-through experience, I think lots of people often compare driving through that kind of gate to you kind of turning the corner and walking down Main Street and seeing the castle. Both are exceptional experiences.
As a kid, we would go into Disney and it'd be a big thing of whose side are you on? Are you on Mickey or Minnie's or Donald or Goofy? So it'd be like, whose side are you on today? So that was always really exciting. GB Mickey Waffle has said, walking across the rope bridge on the Wild Africa trek.
Yeah, what a wonderful highlight.
But I will say, I don't really remember it because it's overshadowed by the engagement.
This is very true, but for anyone that ever wants to do the Wild Africa trek, so these are the bridges that are over the kind of alligators and the hippo sections when you kind of first go into the enclosure. It's a wonderful experience, worth every penny. I will agree with you completely there, GB.
Well, I was watching some of the videos and photos that you took of me walking across the bridges, and I just looked so happy. I'm having the best time.
You were?
I'm sure I was, but that whole thing is a bit like, whoa.
You were dazed.
I'm so dazed by the whole thing now. John Nichols 04 said, taking my mum to Disneyland Paris for her 70th birthday and having a few magical days together. Her first ride as a 70-year-old was, any guesses?
The fact that you're making me guess makes me think that it's something scary. It wasn't like Space Mountain or something, was it?
Tower of Terror.
Oh, fair enough.
Her decision, not mine.
Fair enough.
Good for your mum, John. That's all I'm going to say.
Once you drop, you can't stop, John's mum.
My grandma was the same though. She would do all the big rides.
Yeah.
She's like in her set. She was in her set. He's doing the Hulk. She loved it.
Wow.
She was crazy. Kaz Millwood said, seeing the castle after COVID, I cried.
Yeah.
Knowing I was finally home. It is home. And not being able to go home for a few years, that's hard.
Yeah, I think that there's a difference between, as we've spoken about quite recently in other episodes, there's a difference between like saving up and going and being able to go whenever you want and actually being told categorically that you can't. I think there were so many of us like eagerly sitting there with like a slow build up of furlough money, just being like, please take my money. I just want to see it. Especially when you see people like, for example, Tim Tracker still being able to go to the parks because Florida was basically locked down for like 4 days.
I don't know, something stupid. F. Kuza said, my husband entering the park and cheering when the fireworks went off at 9 a.m. Now, I love the thought of that because it's that thing we spoke about, I think it was in the episode with Chloe and Sam, where anyone stressed, and we were talking mainly about like dads and men and going into Disney and just being free. And I just love the fact, thinking of like, maybe a man who's normally like wearing a suit and he's a business person and then going to Disney and being like, yeah, fireworks. I love that. It makes me so happy.
It is the purest form of escapism.
Live your life and be happy. So so that makes me happy as well.
Love that.
Yeah, and that's it for this week.
Wonderful. So we will keep you posted on all of the updates. We have a wonderful episode coming for you on Tuesday where we're going to be talking about everything Universal UK.
Oh my goodness, it is an incredible episode, and guys. I'm so excited.
It is jam-packed with things that you might already know, things that you didn't know,
It's gonna be a
random tidbits that are just thrown in there. It's wonderfully informative. It's got absolutely everything you need. But if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening in the parks, then tune in next week to Inside the Gates, and we will see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
We can cry when it's over.